What's up, guys? So since the faction rally is coming to Destiny 2 again this upcoming week, I thought I'd go over my weapon review of the Legal Action 2 Kinetic New Monarchy Hakke Pulse Rifle. That is a lot to say, but that's okay. So how to obtain this weapon, you can get it when the faction rally comes around. This was the previous winning weapon in the last faction rally, and it will be available in the upcoming loot pool in the faction rally coming up this week. So you will have a chance to get this thing if you didn't pick it up from the vendor. Because, you know, if you pick New Monarchy, it's 1,000 Glimmer. If you didn't pick New Monarchy, it's 50,000. And personally, I don't want to drop 50 grand on it. I mean, that's just me. I pledge to all of them just in case, like, any one of them win, so that's why I only get it for 1,000, but I know some people don't have multiple characters or multiple accounts or whatever you want to call it. So, moving on. Let's go over its perks. So it comes with a high impact frame, slow firing, high damage. This weapon is more accurate when stationary and aiming down sights. You have 3 sight options: the GB Iron, Agile Iron sights, short zoom, increases handling speed, slightly increases range. Then you have the SC Holo, Hakke Holo sights, medium zoom, greatly increases range, slightly decreases handling speed. And then you have the LD Watchdog, a Hakke threat evaluation tech, long zoom scope, highlights enemy targets, increases range, and slightly increases handling speed. Then you have 2 mega options: accurized rounds. This weapon can fire at long distances, increases range. And then you have high caliber rounds. Shots from this weapon knock the target back farther, which slightly increases its range as well. And finally, you have its trait perk, Rampage. Kills with this weapon temporarily grant increased damage and stacks up to 3 times. So here's a summary of what I use and I think what performed best. So sight-wise, I personally go with the GB Iron or the SC Holo sights because they're probably the most consistent sights out of like the set of Hakke weapons that I've used so far, and with this weapon. You don't need a long range sight with this weapon considering it already has pretty great range since it's one of those slow firing archetypes. Like, it already has great range, which you can tell from the stats when you pick up the weapon. Mag-wise, in my opinion, either high caliber rounds or accurized rounds are both great options for this weapon. I'm not going to tell you to use either or because personally I think it's up to you. Like, obviously high caliber rounds gives you that tiny bit of extra range and a flinch factor, but accurized rounds gives you even more range, no flinch factor. Personally, it's up to you. It's a personal opinion, personal choice. I usually go with high caliber rounds just because of the flinch. I know high caliber rounds got nerfed and all that good stuff, but I still use them just because I feel like I can mess some people up a little bit, you know? The last perk, its trait, Rampage, is one of the best perks in Destiny 2, hands down. Like, everybody knows that if you play the game constantly. Plus, it's receiving a buff in the near future where it's going to have the perk last longer, so it's going to be great for PvP and PvE activities. So, speaking of PvE, I don't have any footage. As you know, I'm not a huge PvE-oriented guy. Like, I'm not data or anything like that. I like PvP, I like using a bunch of different weapons, but I believe this weapon would perform, like, fairly well in a PvE setting because of the other weapons that have the Rampage perk, like Origin Story, Pleiades Corrector, Midnight Coup, Last Perdition, Main Ingredient, Perfect Paradox, etc., etc. There's probably somewhere out there, but whatever. It's extremely good for ad control. Like, you're just going to keep getting that damage buff higher and higher and higher. Like, I feel like that's pretty simple, and it's especially good for those higher tier activities like the Raid or the Nightfall. Like, you want to be able to take out as many ads as possible with the most amount of damage, and even if you do shoot 3 ads, then you can pump some damage out on the boss and have maximum DPS. Like, I feel like that's pretty good as well. PvP wise, in the Crucible, this weapon performs, I'm sad to say, just average. Like, I'm not saying it's not usable or horrible by any means. The perks for a Hakke weapon are extremely good for this, like, weapon, not even just for the archetype, just for the weapon in general. Like, but it can't counter the meta right now. It has good range, like we all know this, I talked about it, but you can't take someone down too well if the stability can't keep this weapon accurate as well as the Mida or a Uriel's Gift or something like that. I will give it, when Rampage kicks in, it hits like a truck. Like, once you get that first kill, you can start taking people down very easily. I think I've got it to where I had Rampage ×2, and I 2-bursted someone without even hitting all headshots. Like, I hit a few, but still, like, body shot damage with that? That's crazy ridiculous, and I just took someone down so easily in that manner. Finally, my rating for this weapon, I'd probably go with a 6 or a 7 out of 10, somewhere in between there. Overall, this weapon can perform well, and lucky enough, this weapon archetype is actually receiving buffs in the future, so it's going to perform, like, even better than it is right now. I'm not saying it's great, but it will be better. If you're feeling lucky, I would start using the weapon right now in the Crucible because, like, it's not that bad. Like, but I would suggest waiting until the March update just to test it out if you're somebody who's hardcore, like, using the meta and stuff like that. Alright guys, you want to know how to support me, there'll be a link below to say best way to support me. I'll just stick it to like a 4-minute video. It's not Patreon or anything like that. If you check it out, I very much appreciate it. And you can also like and subscribe to the channel. Those things are also great as well, and I very much appreciate it. But anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this video. We'll catch you next time.